It's that time again. It's time for me to review another NXT Takeover special. This time it was NXT Takeover Rival, and I went on record at many points in the last few weeks saying that I've not been a massive fan of what I felt has been a very rushed build to this show. But at the end of the day, really, it's more about what happens on the day, and I know from history that usually these NXT Takeover shows generally deliver in a big way, not just in terms of match quality, but also in terms of storylines and other such things. And one thing I will also say about the pre-show, which, usually is there to set the tone, was that it gave some matches with very little build a little bit more meaning and purpose, which I think this show desperately needed, like I said, due to its rushed build. If you have any thoughts and comments as to what happened on this NXT Takeover Rival show, please let me know down in that comment section below. And I'm just going to get straight onto this because I can't wait to talk about this show as per usual. Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze was definitely the best match to open the show in my opinion. And that is for two reasons. Reason number one is that this match really got little to no build, so it made sense to actually open the card and not be part of the main event matches. And number two, we knew the kind of matches these two guys are going to give us, and we knew how much it would excite the fans there at Full Sail University. Tyler Breeze, nice selfie stick, and also a nice fan plant there by having a girl come out and try and get a piece of Tyler Breeze. I think they should do that every week. They should get to the point where you see him walking backstage with a load of girls, and just as he's about to go out there, he just goes, "Shoot a goes," or something like that. That would be entertaining. And also, Tyler Breeze, thank you very much for injuring the leg of Hideo Itami so we didn't see endless kicks, even though in this match we did see a little bit of no-selling from Hideo Itami, who still gave us endless kicks. Now, the match also didn't really need much time because the time was, let's face it, was needed elsewhere for more important matches. I felt overall this was a good opener and the right person went over in Hideo Itami. I just feel that this match really needed a better finish. I'm sorry, but I didn't really feel that finish from Hideo Itami really warranted a 1-2-3 count, in my opinion. I just look at it and I'm like, seriously, do we have to have yet another Hideo Itami match end in kicks, despite the fact that Tyler Breeze took them out and that Hideo Itami was no-selling? No-selling is a big peeve, in my opinion. And when you have Tyler Breeze take out the legs of Hideo Itami in the way he did, there is no way that the guy should be kicking the guy with his leg and then holding it afterwards. It just doesn't really make too much sense from a psychology or any kind of standpoint at all. But other than no-selling, which, like I said, is a little pet peeve of mine ever since I watched ROH back in the day, I thought this was the right opener, a good opener, and the right guy definitely went over. So next up, we had Baron Corbin versus Bull Dempsey in an ODQ match. And, I've already seen these two guys wrestle twice now, and Baron Corbin has beat this guy, well, twice in 2 minutes. So a little bit of a theme of two going on there, really. And I didn't really know what to expect with this match. I kind of knew there'd be no, weapon usage here. Really, it ended up being like a cookie-cutter, no-DQ match, which was not really all that different from a normal match in most cases. I mean, yeah, you got him throwing, each other into the stairs and everything like that, but we generally see that in a lot of, normal singles matches which don't have a no-DQ stipulation. So after watching this, I was just wondering what was really the point of the no-DQ stipulation here. Also, a few botches in this one, with the going over the top rope and the end of days finish. And, when the finish isn't, really maxed out, the match generally feels underwhelming. The finish is one of the most important parts of a wrestling match. And if it's not a good finish, it can make the rest of the match, however good it is, feel slightly underwhelming. That happened with the Hideo Itami match, and it happened with this match, in my opinion. Especially when you have such a big impact finisher kind of fall a little bit flat from Baron Corbin. So really, like I said, I didn't really feel too good about this match. It was just your cookie-cutter no-DQ match. It didn't really need to be a no-DQ match, and the finish kind of fell flat, in my opinion. But it's another win for Baron Corbin. We all know this guy's going to be pushed big in 2015, and this is just one of those stepping stones, really. So next up, it was the NXT Tag Team Championship match between the Lucha Dragons and Blake and Murphy. Thank God Blake and Murphy dropped the first names. It just makes it so much easier of a tag team to say. And also, If they wanted to make Blake and Murphy annoy the piss out of me, they bloody well did with that damn entrance music. God, I cannot stand dubstep music. So in my eyes, these guys are instantly fucking heel with this annoying ass fucking music. The only music I can think of that's worse is either Cesaro's music or Right to Censor's music. And, you know, Right to Censor's was there to annoy us in general. So there. I didn't really also expect that much from this match, to be honest. I know these two teams are, you know, pretty good wrestling-wise, but they already did the title switch on TV. So the big moment had already happened on TV where you switch the titles. And this was essentially a rematch which you knew Blake and Murphy were going to win. Also, the botches didn't help this match either. You had Sin Cara especially and Kalisto botching a few high-risk moves at the start of the match. And, you know, this match just overall just didn't pick up steam in the beginning part of it and just started to feel off. Even though these two tag teams in the last 2 to 3 minutes really tried their best. So I'll give them an A for effort there to pull it back together and get the crowd back. Overall, this match, I felt it could have been a good tag title match. Ended up just being an okay title match, and it was mainly because of what happened near the beginning of the match with the botched moves and how that really didn't stem the flow of the match very well. No surprise, Blake and Murphy retained the championships here, but overall, an okay match and, you know, real so-so for first 40 minutes in my opinion. Also, it looks like Solomon Crowe will be debuting next week on the NXT TV show. I was really hoping he would debut on NXT Takeover Rival and maybe have like a big introduction to his character like we've seen for Baron Corbin, like we've seen for Kevin Owens, like we've seen for Hideo Itami, etc. But it looks like we're seeing the guy on NXT TV. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this guy's character. So like I said, the first 40 minutes were okay, but they weren't really good or great in my opinion. And really how good this show was going to be was very much determined by how good the 3 main matches were on this show. The first of which was Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville in the #1 contendership tournament final. And I really don't have too much to say about this match. There wasn't really any heat here. It was just 2 guys going out there and proving which of them was the best and deserving of that #1 contendership. And these guys went out there and they definitely kicked ass. I am really at the moment digging the Finn Balor character. The choreographed entrance, the way the guy looks, the way the guy presents himself in the ring. I just really am a massive fan of the whole way they're presenting this Finn Balor character right now. And I can see exactly why NXT would want to push this guy into a big spot and go after the NXT Championship. And that is exactly what they did here. They had Finn Balor defeat Adrian Neville. It looks like Adrian Neville may be going to the main roster at some point soon, you would think. So it's nice to see him putting over talent on the way out. You know, he's already put over Kevin Owens. Now he's putting over Finn Balor here in a big way. But I want to hark back to Hideo Itami really here. It's funny how, you know, the way Hideo Itami was introduced and the way they were talking about him in WWE, it almost felt like he was supposed to be the next big thing in NXT. You know, given the way they brought the guy in on the special event and had him feud with the Ascension, who would then go onto the main roster. But now Finn Balor is the one riding high on the show right now. And I posed the question a while back on one of my NXT reviews, Hideo Itami or Finn Balor? And it really seems at the moment that Hideo Itami has really failed to really get much steam going for him in NXT. And it feels like Finn Balor is, like I said, really riding that high wave in NXT right now. And I believe, in my opinion, is much more deserving of that big spot. And I feel could do a lot more for WWE in the future, just based alone on the way the guy looks. He's Irish, so he has his own international appeal. And the choreographed entrance is just something that sets him out from every other wrestler on the roster right now. And sometimes uniqueness is just one of those things you just can't teach in a character. So I'm very happy for Finn Balor, the new #1 contender. Let's move on. So in their usual semi-main event slot, it was the NXT Women's Championship match between Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. And these ladies, let's face it, had to follow Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville, which is a very good match. But generally, when they're put in this semi-main event slot, they do generally deliver. And I actually think they definitely followed Adrian Neville versus Finn Balor. And in my opinion, they had a more enjoyable and a better match, in my opinion, than Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville. And this isn't just me saying, this is a very good women's match. I just thought this was a very good match, period. And like I said, I enjoyed it more than Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville. I really did. I felt like this match never lost its pace at one point. It had some very innovative spots. They all got a time to shine in there. And there was that all-important title change, which I felt it was the right time to happen, really. And you had Charlotte lose the belt to Sasha Banks here. And now, whereas Charlotte, if you kept the belt on Charlotte, you'd be doing a lot of repeated matches. Now you've got Sasha Banks as the champion. You can do some new matches and keep things fresh in the NXT women's division. So I think this is exactly the right time to have the belt go over to Sasha Banks, who can now face people like Bayley, who can now, even do a storyline there between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. There's a lot more options now that Sasha Banks has the belt, and I think she definitely deserves the belt with the work she has done on NXT and some of the matches she has had with Charlotte too. So in general, like I said, I thought the NXT Divas went out there and they really kicked ass. Again, it always gets me thinking, why the fuck can't the actual WWE Divas on the main roster get time like this and put in good matches? And I really have to give a personal note to Triple H here. I did watch the Triple H podcast with him and the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, sorry, when Triple H is on there, and he was talking about giving women time on the NXT roster. And I feel these really are the fruits of his labour, and he's really making women's wrestling feel very important on NXT. And I hope this is something he can carry over to the main roster when him and Stephanie eventually take over Vince McMahon. All in all, I felt this was much better. Really, really damn good semi-main event. And in my opinion, I was thinking at the time, fucking hell, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have got to follow that. So our main event of the evening was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. This was the match that everyone was talking about. It was Kevin Steen versus El Generico from ROH, Final Battle 2010, Final Battle 2012, whatever, in a WWE ring. And this match, with the way they built it and the way they had the characters interact and put heat on Kevin Owens, this was a match I was really, really looking forward to. And the fact they put so much build into it made the match, feel like a real big-time fight match. And I really must admit, like the way this match started off. You had Kevin Owens going to the outside, trying to get into Sami Zayn's head. And then Sami Zayn dives over the ref and goes to house on this guy. And this is exactly how you would start. You would start like a house on fire, the way this feud has gone down. And, the way Sami Zayn reacted at the start made a lot of sense in terms of storytelling. And I like the way this match felt. It didn't feel like a wrestling match per se. It felt like a fight. It felt like a brawl. It felt like these guys really had heat with each other. And that felt different from what we generally have seen on NXT, which is good wrestling. We don't really see this, too often in terms of the way NXT present their storylines. So I felt this felt a little bit different in that sense. So that was very good. The match itself, I thought, was also quite good. I mean, obviously, you had Kevin Owens dominate most of the match and Sami Zayn get his hope spots in there. They obviously have very good chemistry in the ring here. But really, I feel the big talking point here will be how the match finished. And I'm a little bit torn, in my opinion. I get that they wanted to do this concussion angle, and it was a way of giving this a non-clean finish because you didn't want Sami Zayn to lose the title clean on his first title defense, etc. But now do you guys kind of see why I wanted this to be non-title? You wouldn't have needed to do all this bullshit, and you could have had Owens get the pin on Sami Zayn without having Sami Zayn lose the title that they spent so long building up to, going towards NXT Takeover R-Evolution. But at the same time, we know now, the way they're building this story, and that these guys are going to have a match further down the line. And because of this and the way this match finished with the referee throwing the match out due to a supposed concussion to Sami Zayn, giving the belt to Kevin Owens, the storyline now can be stretched out for a long period of time, which will be better, and it's something we don't see very often in professional wrestling right now. Them going to the lengths to actually extend the storyline, using a moment like this at a big show to actually continue this storyline and give it some more heat going down the road. So while at first I really wasn't for this whole concussion angle with the way things are worked out, I just thought that having Kevin Owens defeat Sami Zayn in a non-title match would have been a better way of doing it. But you look at the angle that they did. I mean, Sami Zayn has had supposed concussions in storylines before, so it did work there. And the way this was done to the point where you can have Sami Zayn, go out for some time now. I believe he has some commitments somewhere else, so he can't be on the NXT TV tapings this week. So you can now drag this storyline out, which, like I said earlier, is something we don't see very often in pro wrestling. So I give NXT a little bit of credit there in the way they booked this, even though Kevin Owens has now just come straight into NXT and won the NXT Championship after only 2 months. Man, imagine if they did that with Roman Reigns. All the fucking hate that would be getting. But no, because it's Kevin Steen, it's fine. Just saying. Anyway, as for my overall thoughts on this show, I thought this was another very good NXT Takeover show. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, I thought the way that went down was pretty interesting. I thought the women's match was definitely the match of the night, in my opinion, in terms of pure wrestling. I feel that Finn Balor versus Neville was a very good match. The first 40 minutes of the show was kind of so-so, but that really didn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things because the 3 main matches on the show delivered in a big way, and that is what you expect to see from big special events like NXT Takeover Rival, which only happen, really 4 or 5 times a year. So let me know your thoughts on this show down in the comment section below. I thought it was very good. I want to hear the reasons why you thought it was very good, or maybe you have reasons to think that it wasn't so good. Let me know down in the comment section below. The British Fish Q&A will be uploaded on Thursday night as opposed to tonight. So I'll see you same time next week for the NXT review where Solomon Crow will be debuting and we'll have 2 new champions to look at on the TV show. Thank you very much for watching this review if you have, and for now, goodbye.